Hey, so you're thinking about or started selling online on marketplaces like Poshmark, Mercari, eBay, but are you setting yourself up for success? In today's video, we're going to be talking about all things you should be tracking and managing. That way, come tax time, there's no surprises. Stay tuned and let's talk small business. Hey everybody, I'm Blake, aka PoshBossBlake, and welcome back to the channel, and a happy new year. Hope you're all doing fabulous. I know I am ready to crush 2021, and I'm going to welcome all sorts of opportunities and information my way. Hope you do the same, sending you positive vibes. That said, definitely think about subscribing because you'll get a lot of that positive energy here on this channel, which I will be posting every Friday. Indefinitely, so get ready for great content. And if you'd like to follow along my non-reseller related journey, lifestyle content like Weight Watchers journey, sorry I flubbed there, you can check that out on my second channel, Blake Does Things, and new videos will be there every Wednesday. All right, so we have a bunch of things to talk about today. When you are reselling, particularly online, you want to make sure you're setting yourself up for success. So we're going to talk about a couple things that you need to do and be mindful of the entire time you're reselling, okay? Quick disclaimer, I am not a tax professional. You should be working with a CPA, an accountant, a financial advisor, etc. when you are filing your taxes. I am giving you some recommendations as someone who has a small business, who runs these things, and is tracking and managing so that I am not shocked come tax time. So first up, we're going to talk about inventory. So inventory can be given to us, we purchase it in store, online, whatever it is. At the end of the day, you're gonna want to get a receipt. You wanna get that receipt and hold on to it. Whether you're taking a picture and uploading it to Google Drive, whether you are storing them in a portfolio kind of divider, in Ziploc bags, in manila folders, in a basket in your bathroom, like whatever it is, you wanna make sure that you are tracking your receipts and managing all of that total cost of goods that you are creating for your business. Why is this important? It's important because this is going to become tax deductible and it will lower your taxable income because it was a cost associated with getting something that you need for your business. That said, if you are ever out shopping, really aim hard, try hard to have a completely dedicated bank account, credit card for only those purchases. The second you start to mix up and mingle your side hustle, your reselling business, with your personal income, that's where it gets hazy. And again, I'm not a tax professional, but think business minded, right? You're gonna wanna keep everything separate so that if something happens, maybe there's a dispute, God forbid you get audited, you wanna be able to look at your entire transaction history, everything from the past in concise form. Imagine needing to do that while mingled amongst your personal purchases. Oh my gosh, that's a nightmare. Okay, so get yourself a separate bank account. It doesn't need to be a business bank account either. Just get yourself a separate bank account and a credit card that you dedicate, if you're using credit, to make purchases for your business. I personally have 2 credit cards that I use, honestly, because the points are different and they change between the 2 cards. So just those 2 cards are dedicated towards my reselling business. And then I do have I have 2 separate bank accounts. One that I get all my transfers into, and then a second account where I pay myself out of the profit so that I can do whatever I want with that. So now that we've talked about tracking our inventory receipts and separating our money from our personal income, we're gonna be talking about packing supplies. Okay, so you might be thinking like, why are we talking about packing supplies? Because this is something, particularly if you're selling on Poshmark or if you're selling or shipping flat rate on any of these platforms, those supplies are free. You should not be paying a cent for flat rate or priority mail shipping supplies. These are all free to you on USPS Postal Store. Also support the USPS. That said, you want to make sure that if you're running low, you order plenty ahead of time If you need to go to the post office, see what is available in the display stand. You want to make sure it is flat rate or regular priority. There are some circumstances that allow other types of priority mail, but for the most part, these supplies are free. You can order them in bulk online, stickers, customs pouches, all sorts of different shapes of packages and boxes. I've talked about it here on the channel, and I'll link it if I can find it. One last thing. Always, 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 especially with people buying so much more online these days, if you personally, or you have neighbors or friends and family around that you are in contact with, safely of course, make sure you're recycling all sorts of packaging. Recycling, although does not give you a business benefit other than being free, should be good enough for you. It's also good for the environment. It might not be the most prettiest packaging, but at the end of the day, the goal is to make money, not to provide necessarily a pretty package to someone. Controversial statement, I will say right there, probably, like, you can have nice packaging and also be forward-minded for the customer, but at the end of the day, you're selling a good and the packaging is being thrown away for the most part. So just be mindful and recycle as much as you can, because again, it'll be free for your business. Speaking of shipping supplies, should you have to pay for anything, maybe you have to send something international, whatever the case may be, again, keep your receipts so that you can write that expense off when it comes to tax time. Okay, since we're shipping, what are we gonna need to ship? Printer, thermal printer, ink, paper, whatever it is, however you can afford, whatever you want to invest in for yourself, and get the associated supplies. Again, make sure you're getting receipts for these. There are pros and cons to both. I personally now, because I'm at home, have access to a regular printer, but also my thermal printer. You can save some money and actually print on priority mail shipping labels. It has the I talk about it in the shipping video. You can print right onto the label instead of buying paper, if that's something you want to explore if you don't yet have a thermal printer. If you're really a volume seller and you don't yet have a thermal printer, really think about investing in that for yourself. There are so many these days and you don't need like top of the line. All it needs to do is print out the barcode, okay? And speaking of which, if you ever are concerned, especially with all the shipping situation going on, make sure that you are tracking your packages as best as possible. In LA, when I was in LA, I never dropped off my packages with a person. It was just not possible with the amount of time it would take. Too many people, overcrowded, like a lot of things. But USPS actually recently put out, I'm not sure if it's available on all kiosks yet, but if you have a kiosk and a drop box, you can now go to that kiosk, scan in packages that you're dropping off and get a receipt, so it indicates that you shipped it. That is a mega huge feature going into 2021 with the USPS that I think is going to be genius. So definitely just get your receipts as best as possible, because you never want anything to go wrong and you always want the proof, okay? What do we want in 2021? We want receipts. If you are shipping on marketplaces where they are not offering you a commercial rate for shipping, i.e. Mercari or some other marketplaces, or if you're selling on Instagram or you're doing your own thing on your own website, I also recommend looking at a website called PirateShip for USPS mail only. They are just an online source, kind of like a stamps.com, but they are able to give you commercial pricing for virtually every type of USPS package. I highly recommend it. I personally use this all the time for my personal packages and for some reselling packages. It's definitely talked about in the reseller community. There is no referral. This is just an absolute golden resource that people should know about. So definitely check that out and keep that in mind so that you can get a couple bucks or a couple cents off of something to save yourself some pennies, because over time that adds up, okay? Speaking of post office, let's talk about P.O. boxes. P.O. boxes, mailboxes, we're at a UPS, whatever it is, I would highly recommend, especially if you're consistently selling and if you have a public persona. Out of safety, I would highly recommend you invest in some sort of mailbox so that you have an address that is not your home. Get a P.O. box. You can get them in all different sizes, in all different price points, from extra small to, I don't know what the largest is because I've never had it, but the post office is like known for a PO box. There's also mailboxes, which is what I have currently here in upstate. And my mailbox is through a UPS. I can send every piece of mail to that mailbox, which is great because I can have my personal packages delivered there. I can have Amazon, regular mail, like regular USPS mail can be delivered to this mailbox. So it's also just good for if you have a return, you know it's going to be in a secure place. If you are a social person or a public persona or are growing in Instagram, social media, etc., you don't want people creeping on your home address. And people forget that it's on the return shipping label if you don't have a mailbox. So should anything go crazy, you get a distraught customer, you want to make sure you're protected and safe. So get your PO box elsewhere, okay? Next up, and this is like a major thing, okay? Attention, if you're doing something else and you're not watching, please pay attention, okay? Ready. You need to, from day one, go back to January 1, you need to be tracking your mileage. It doesn't matter how, well, it does matter how you do it, but, which you can actually find on the IRS website, but you want to make sure that you are tracking your mileage, okay? If you are going from your home to a store to resell, and then you're going to another store, and then you're going to another store, you need to be tracking those miles because it is a deduction for you when it comes to tax time, okay? There's a lot of circumstances around mileage and commuting, and if you have an office for your reselling business, there's, you know, how you can take your mileage is also different as well. I'm not going to get too deep into mileage in this video, but just know it is something that you absolutely should be doing, and make sure you're doing it properly. A tool I use for myself to be able to do that is called MileIQ. I'll link it down below. It's through Microsoft now. It wasn't originally, but it got bought. And they use geo-tracking to track you every time you drive somewhere. So it's really nice because you can go about your day, and then at the end of the day, go into the app, log every place you've been, and swipe left or right and categorize if it's reselling related. For me, I would break it out into sourcing, into shipping packages, or personal, like I went to the grocery store, you know, whatever it is. They make it super easy, and I personally love the layout, and it's exceptional come tax time because you can pull these mega reports and sort and categorize everything you need so that you can get a concise number for your income tax. So that said, again, link will be down below. It is called a MileIQ, like the letter I, the letter Q, and that is, start doing that, okay? It is a little bit of a subscription, but again, it's something that is tax deductible, so keep that in mind. All right, you guys, so we're gonna do a quick little recap, and reminder, I am not a tax professional. Absolutely check with an accountant, a CPA, someone who works with the IRS or files taxes, etc., on a regular basis for small business, so that you have proper legal advice. But from my perspective as a business owner, what are we gonna do? We're going to keep every single receipt and track it for expenses that we can eventually write off for the business. We're going to get free supplies, okay, from the USPS postal store, or we're going to recycle from neighbors, friends, our own self. We're going to invest if we haven't already, or make sure we're writing off, if it's new, your printer and everything you need to print labels to be able to ship out your packages. We're going to invest in a safety measure of a mailbox of some sort, a PO box, a mailbox through UPS, a mailbox at a mail and ship kind of store wherever you live. Absolutely, for your safety and protection, make sure you're doing that. And then also, if you need to get some commercial pricing for USPS, definitely check out PirateShip. And last but not least, make sure you're tracking your mileage. For people that travel hours or are reselling every single day and going out every single day, or maybe someone in the family is, make sure you are tracking your mileage. All of that adds up, and it could be thousands of dollars in a deduction, hundreds or thousands of dollars in a deduction. So again, make sure you're talking with your tax and CPA accountant professional. But I hope this was helpful for you guys. I know for me, it was something that I did not start doing, especially with the mileage, which mind blown at how much that can help with lowering your overall taxable income. I think it's important that you know this at the start of the year so you can start now so you're not having to backtrack. If you're seeing this and you're maybe like, oh gosh, I didn't do any of that for 2020, you have time. You have several months to be able to go back and do what you can. And if you guys have any questions that I can help with, you know, not too specific with the law, please leave me a comment below, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!